Here are the stories of 7 of the unluckiest lottery winners who, despite their immense winnings, ended up losing everything. Each story highlights the challenges, poor decisions, and unforeseen troubles that came with sudden wealth. 1. Jack Whitaker. In 2002, Jack Whitaker, a successful businessman from West Virginia, won a staggering $314 million Powerball jackpot, one of the largest in U.S. history at the time. Initially, he seemed to manage his newfound fortune well. He made large charitable donations, even creating a foundation for those in need, and showered his friends and family with gifts. However, his life quickly spiraled out of control. Whitaker became a target for thieves, his relationship suffered, and he faced multiple lawsuits. Worse still, tragedy struck his family. His granddaughter, whom he doted on, passed away under tragic circumstances. Whitaker eventually declared bankruptcy, saying his winnings brought nothing but sorrow. He once remarked that he wished he'd torn up the ticket, too. Billy Bob Harrell Jr. Billy Bob Harrell Jr., a Texan, won $31 million in 1997, and like many, he thought his troubles were over. He generously gave money to his church, friends, and family, and he even bought homes and cars. However, his spending soon got out of hand, and he began to feel the weight of constant requests for money from people around him. Harrell, who had struggled financially before his win, found himself overwhelmed and unable to manage the pressures of sudden wealth. His marriage collapsed, and he faced mounting stress. In a tragic turn of events, Harrell took his own life less than 2 years after winning, with his family believing the lottery win had contributed to his downward spiral. 3. Evelyn Adams. Evelyn Adams' story is unique because she won the lottery not once but twice, in 1985 and 1986, with a total haul of around $5.4 million. She quickly became a public sensation, and people started treating her as an expert on luck and winnings. Unfortunately, her newfound wealth didn't last long. Adams had a gambling addiction, and her fortune quickly vanished at Atlantic City casinos. By the time she realized how much she had lost, it was too late. She ended up living in a trailer, having squandered her millions within a few short years, and often warned others against assuming that money guarantees happiness or security. 4. Michael Carroll. Michael Carroll, a British trash collector, won £9.7 million in 2002 at the young age of 19. With little experience managing money, he quickly burned through his winnings, purchasing luxury cars, throwing lavish parties, and indulging in all sorts of excesses. Carroll also became notorious for his clashes with the law, including multiple arrests. By 2010, he was completely broke, even working again as a garbage collector. Carroll's spending habits and poor life choices ultimately led to his downfall, and he later expressed regret for how he handled his fortune, wishing he had been more responsible. 5. Collie Rogerskally. Rogers was only 16 years old when she won the lottery in the United Kingdom, netting £1.9 million in 2003. Like many teenagers, she was inexperienced with money management, and she quickly spent her winnings on luxury items, plastic surgery, and high-end parties. Over the years, she found herself in an unsustainable lifestyle and went through difficult relationships that left her feeling isolated. Rogers eventually ended up nearly penniless and struggled with mental health challenges. She later became an advocate for responsible gaming and financial literacy, warning young lottery winners of the pitfalls of sudden wealth. 6. William Bud Post. William Bud Post won $16.2 million in the Pennsylvania lottery in 1988. Post's life was troubled even before his big win, but he hoped that money would finally solve his problems. Unfortunately, his lack of financial acumen led to disaster. Post made poor investments and found himself unable to handle requests for money from family members. At one point, his own brother hired a hitman to try to kill him to inherit his wealth. Post faced various legal issues and ended up in serious debt, even spending time in jail. By the time he passed away, he was living on a modest government pension and left little behind for his heirs. 7. David Lee Edwards. David Lee Edwards, a former convict from Kentucky, won a $27 million Powerball jackpot in 2001. Having struggled with addiction, Edwards spent much of his winnings on extravagant items, including luxury cars, homes, and even a plane. His newfound wealth intensified his addiction issues, and he quickly burned through his fortune in just a few years. Edwards ended up bankrupt and living in squalor with his wife. Tragically, he died in 2013, completely broke and estranged from many of his family members. His story is often cited as a cautionary tale about the dangers of sudden wealth for those with a history of addiction. These stories underscore how winning the lottery can often bring unforeseen challenges and personal difficulties. Although sudden wealth can offer temporary freedom, many lottery winners struggle with the pressures, expectations, and temptations that accompany such a windfall. For some, the lottery has indeed been more of a curse than a blessing. If you enjoyed the content and want more interesting and useful information, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with all the latest videos.